Welcome back to Barbecue with Greg. Let's put that meat on the grill. Let's get started. Well, hello there, barbecue friends. Once again, we're going to fire up the Weber Kettle Grill here. Now, we still got a freezing day today, but the sun's out, the wind's not quite as strong. Should be much more pleasant to be out here today. So what I got planned, I got 2 slabs of back ribs. We're going to put these on the kettle, but I'm going to do them a little bit different. I'll show you what I'm doing step by step, as always. So I got my half basket in here. I got a fire starter going. I have my previous unburnt charcoal here in the basket. I'm going to top it up with some fresh charcoal. Okay, you can see how I got the vents more than halfway open on the bottom. I got a good kind of heat source going there. I can't really leave my hand on there too long. You can see the glowing there behind. Now I'll set my grill grate in there, right on top, and put my lid on. I got my vent opposite to my heat source. I got the vent fully open here. Let's just let this climatize to where it's at. Let's get our meat ready. I got a couple racks of pork back ribs from my local butcher down the street. You just see all the meat on those short bones. That's why I love back ribs. Okay, I'm going to start off. I'm going to remove the membrane. I always find it helps get more flavor into the meat, but that could just be me. Just take a butter knife, find one of your bones, work it underneath that membrane, work it right across the whole rib. Just walk it across like that. Once you get a good portion of it, give it a pull. Just like that. There you go. Let's do the next one. And get the knife under there, lift a little bit. All right, there we have it. All right, for this particular cook, instead of having those full slabs here on the grill, I'm going to cut these up into appetizer size. And take my bony knife here, flip them over so I can see the bones. And I'm going to go every 2 bone, I'm going to cut in the middle. Kind of get a bunch of sections like this. Now, I got these seasonings made locally from me. Felipe's Blazin barbecue rub. This one's the sweet heat. And Felipe's Blazin barbecue sauce is the coffee whiskey ghost pepper. I bought this at our last barbecue event, the Border City Barbecue Masters. Felipe's had a booth there, and I wanted to try some of their stuff. So I tried that there, and this is quite spicy. Now, the Sweet Heat Barbecue Rub, I've used a few times now. You can see. It's got a bit of spicy note to it. In the cooking process, some of that heat gets cooked off. So I wanted something very potent like this. So the end result still gives me some nice heat. So we'll see how that works out with these ribs. So we're going to start off with our barbecue rub. Put a generous amount on these. We'll flip these over. And we'll cook this side of the ribs. Okay. Now the barbecue sauce we'll start adding later. We'll get a bit of a cook on these first. I'd say, look at these. I'd say that's ready for the grill. All right, starting to get some nice heat coming out of these vents. See, I got a nice hot flame source going there, heat source. Let's get these on the grill. I'm going to put them opposite to the coals here. Take any excess of that Felipe's Blazin rub here. We're just going to sprinkle that over top. All right. See, I got those ribs opposite to my coals. Let's get our lid on. I'm going to put it with the vent portion over the meat. I'm going to close my vent just by maybe halfway there. We're just going to let this go. All right, so I'll bring you back when we do the next step. Okay, after a half hour of these ribs being on the grill, I'll bring you in for a closer look, show you what they look like. All right, here we go. Still got quite a bit of heat coming off of here. What I'm going to do at this point, flip everything over. So we're going to go meat side down for a bit. You can see at this point that all those dry spices baked right into the meat. All right, we'll put our lid back on. All right, I'll bring you back in another half hour, show you what I'm doing next. All right, for a total cooking time of 1 hour, it's time to start introducing this. Some of Felipe's coffee, whiskey, ghost pepper, barbecue sauce. All right, let's take our lid off, see what we got. The ribs are starting to smell nicely. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour some in a bowl with my brush. Comes out like a thick ketchup. And we're going to start brushing that on these ribs. Just a light coating for now. See, these ribs are starting to get a little bit of bone pull. The meat's starting to tighten up on these. Now what we're going to do, give these a flip. Now we'll sauce the meat side of these ribs. Paint them on nicely. There we go. We got all these sauced up. These are just looking, smelling amazing. All right, we'll put our lid back on. I'll bring you back when we do the next step. All right, we're now at 2 hours total cooking time on these ribs. Let's come in, take a closer look, show you what we got. Okay, let's take our lid off here. Oh boy, just look at these beauties. All right, just to give some gauge where we're at here, I'll just put a thermometer in here. Oh, it just goes in so nicely, just like butter. Look at that, we're 202 degrees, 203. Let's go on one of these back ones here. 196, 198. Check one of these. Just look how tender that is. All right, I'd say these are done, ready to come off, go on the board. All right, one last thing before we put them on the board. Let's put them directly over these coals. Just for a minute or so. I want to bake that sauce right in. We're going to caramelize any leftover barbecue sauce on there. All right, then I'll put them on the board. All right. Now they're all off the grill. Just look at that. Just look. They smell fantastic. Now these were total cooking time of around 2 hours. Now I used the coffee whiskey ghost pepper barbecue sauce. That's extremely hot just to taste on its own. But I know once you have it here on the coals, it takes away some of that heat. So I'm hoping that some of the heat remains in there. If not, we can always add a little bit more. But here we have it. Ribs cooked here on the kettle grill. No matter what seasoning you're using, this is a great technique to have ribs in 2 hours, and appetizer size as well. Oh yeah, some of the heat came through. That spiciness, I definitely taste that on there. I love the caramelization of that, the sugars over the flame at the end. You got to bite and pull the meat off the bone, but you can see it does clean off the bone there. Well, as opposed to a 3 or 4 hour cook, it's cooked very well. I'm telling you, the more I bite into this, the more of the heat from that sauce is hitting me. Now, I like spices. This is just at my limit, I gotta say. Well, if you enjoyed this video, seeing me out in the cold like this, cooking on the kettle grill, I appreciate you. Give me a thumbs up. And again, if you want to see more cooks like this, click that subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Barbecue with Greg.
Thanks for watching Barbecue with Greg, one of those barbecue cooking shows people watch on YouTube sometimes.